Wholeness and Balance Vibrations, what's going on? I'm getting tons of emails. My box is blowing up, so I got to get on this message right now in order to possibly save my bandwidth from what's going on right now. Tons of people emailing me. I didn't stay up last night for the elections. I noticed people start emailing me around 1 a.m., so that must have been when it went down. What are we talking about here? So first of all, I want to tell you right now that if this is your first time ever hearing messages about what you think is conspiracy and what you think could be far-fetched, that maybe you want to keep this video on for a bit more longer than you would normally keep it on when you would go click off into something else. And even if you think for one moment, because of my skin color, that I may not be able to give you the truth, because that's the game that's about to be played, that maybe you want to listen to this message just right now so you can hear yourself, because I am you. Now, what I'm going to break down right now is I'm going to break down to you exactly what's happening with these elections. I'm going to break down to you exactly how this is all put together. And I'm also going to deliver you a massive solution so that you can get yourself to the next level ASAP, because I have a feeling that a lot of people right now are not wanting to play the game anymore. And what game am I talking about? This is a Joker card, whether you can see it or not. I'm talking about the House of Cards. You already know that there was a series just recently on TV and actually on now telling you about all the stuff going on in the White House, how they're all on the same team, how they handle all these different things that go on in the world unscrupulously, and how they're basically on a tirade to run the world like they've always been. This is the same thing going on over and over, but because this is your generation, this is not you knowing 500 to 600 to 1,000 years in the past and what's gone on for your ancestors and what they've experienced under these same regimes that have tapped into the continuum side of themselves and what they're running, and they can continuously work together in order to create a reality of chaos for you. So I'm going to talk about today how to get out of that reality, how to get yourself out of the matrix. My name is James Bomar. For those who don't know me, I wrote The Code to the Matrix, the book you can download for free on the internet, like I guess 7 years ago now. And in that book, it details a lot about what I'm going to talk to you about today, but it also gets into different things about linguistics and all sorts of stuff. And if you want to catch us like in real time, you can catch us at Secret Energy, because even starting today, that's secretenergy.com, secretenergy.com. And we're going to start today. I'm actually changing up some things with the site, and we're going to be like the world star hip hop of consciousness. And so it's going on. So let's start with this. So 9/11/11/9. You get it? 9/11/11/9. Today is 11/9. Today you found out about the election. Now, the last 9/11 or sequence of these numbers, a situation happened that divided the world. And of course, that's the 9/11 Twin Towers, 2 towers. The 9/11 sums up to 20. You simplify that, that's 2. That is the number of division, okay? Now, what we're dealing with right now is that, as I explained to you, it's like a house of cards. We watched this whole charade of this election that seemed so fanciful. It seemed just so far-fetched that even these 2 candidates could be the last running mates in the whole thing. And as people were very disgruntled about the situation just overall, many people found themselves fighting against the greater of 2 evils. Some people were over there like, okay, a woman can't be president. I definitely ain't going to vote for the man. Some people were like, well, you know, she's corrupt and her past and all this, so I'm definitely going to vote for Trump. And some people were like, I'm definitely not voting for Trump. He's a racist, so I'm going to have to vote for this other lady. And then so this was going on in most people's mind, and it built a field of chaos. It got wild. And when things get wild, because this is a house of cards, what comes out? The Joker. This is also known as the Trump card. It was developed during the Civil War, meaning it was added to the deck of cards during the Civil War. And if you don't think that the deck of cards is very important, let me just give you a quick crash course about what tarot is. Tarot means the wheel. It comes from the word rota, meaning to rotate. That's the occult meaning of tarot. And how tarot is set up is that basically because of the constellations, because of your zodiac, because, you know, all the different things that go on the planet that resonate who we are and what we are until we snap out of the matrix program, then there is this basic path that you go down. And many people can get stuck on different parts of the path or born in different parts of the path. And then because this path is a complete circle, you end up basically muting yourself over and over again. And they call that reincarnation, right? So this art is so well studied, especially in Germany. People don't realize that the original secret societies were most interested in this system of the tarot, which came out of Kemet, to understanding of what's basically going to happen next. And so through all that knowledge, which it takes you to look at some of my past recordings to really decipher completely, because it's a lengthy subject, a new system was developed, a new house of cards, the cards of 52 in the deck. Because remember, some of the tarots, they have 9 cards. That was like the original tarot. Then there was another tarot that was put out by who we would say are the Hebrews. And that was 22 characters to match with their language of 22. And then now we have one that is 52 cards come out, okay? And in that 52 cards, notice how you have 52 weeks in a year, okay? And then notice how also you have 27 letters in the language, and when you times that by 2, you get 52, right? Now think about this, some number sequences. And if for one moment, if you think that this numerology thing is a game, then I just showed you 2 things that maybe you possibly didn't know about how the tarot deck, the modern tarot deck, which is the one that's used in the United States by occultists, is 52 cards. And that 52 cards lines up to all the days in the week and all the weeks in the year. And the reason why that's done is because there has to be some kind of system or program to be able to manipulate things. So where we're at right now is that we are now in a card game where the Joker is being pulled, the Trump card, the wild card, because many people right now are just obliterated about how this could be happening to them, how that the world could elect a president and even a first lady. Like imagine now there's Melania Trump as a first lady. I mean, I can't even, I don't even get into the presidency, but I understand the game. And I'm gonna show you the game. I'm gonna show you the game as we talk in this conversation and how it's all played. But the most interesting thing is when we watch basically 2 very artificial people take over the entire country, you're going to get the mannequin challenge. Basically, people are going to be frozen in their actions because they're going to be thinking about all this so much about what's going to happen. They're going to become basically petrified and frozen in fear if they don't listen to recordings like these and tap back into themselves and get out of the program. So here's what we're talking about. We're talking about that people had to understand that when they elected Barack Obama into office, that automatically set things up for Donald Trump to come into office, because after all, if the world can go pro-black, it's going to have to be able to go pro-white. So it's like the yin and the yang of the entire matter. But let's get even deeper. People have to realize that even since it's recorded in biblical times that when the people asked to have a king over themselves, what it actually created was it created a time to where all of a sudden everyone's freedom, even Godhead, who they thought was the most high, was completely usurped by this leader. And that happens in when they bring in Saul. Okay, Saul is also known as Salt in the occult. The salt has a hexagonal pattern similar to the pole on Saturn, and Saturn is known as that old king. Okay, so the system that you are under right now, unless you choose to eject from the matrix, which I hope you choose to do today, is completely Saturnalian. All right. And now for those who are still trying to figure out the difference between Saturn and Lucifer, both of these characters are the less and greater of 2 evils. And it doesn't matter what you think that they truly are and what you've been conned to believe that they are. There are groups that practice deep rituals to determine what those names and what those symbols actually mean. So when we're living in this era, the Luciferian and the Saturnalian occultism is what you actually seen in the White House just now, with Hillary Clinton playing the Luciferian feminine role, right? And then Donald Trump playing the satanic masculine divided role. Okay, so this is all of basically blue team versus red team at its best. And it's interesting because even when you're seeing all these publications come out like Doctor Strange, you can get an idea of how much occult knowledge the mega structure or industrial complex, which is the military and Hollywood, and how they work together. Ronnie Reagan, all the stars from, the false stars, Jay-Z, Beyonce coming in and trying to endorse and sending their power into this. But the goal is just to get you to vote, okay? Because that's what was said, that out of all things, at this particular election, more people voted than ever voted in history. And this is obviously because the influence of social media, and then how social media can get everyone commenting on things and everyone feeling like they're all a part of something, but still that something is being controlled by what put all of that in front of you, what created the internet. The internet was used by the military for 40, 50 years before it actually was released to the public. The entire internet is in the cradle of the military industrial complex as far as how everything is set up, just so you're aware. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about a grand play. And that's why it's known as the House of Cards, because when you see them put the mask on in the occult rituals, right? Like the one on Eyes Wide Shut, you see the mask. Those masks are actually cognates of tarot cards, that you are to take on the role of that card. That's what they talk about in these books in the secret societies, right? So now Donald Trump is taking on the role of the Joker, the wild card, the one that nobody expected to win. And the actions that will now occur after this will completely be wild card and Jokerish. People will not expect some of the things to occur. So the reason why you have to get this conversation in your head and your consciousness today is because you need to realize that, hey, all this is another wake-up call like 9/11, another time to snap you out of the hypnosis, to let you know that this is not a game for you. This is a game that they're playing on you, but this is not something that you end up winning. It's not your game. You have to get completely out of this matrix. And how you get out of that is you actually begin to take your energy and divert it elsewhere, primarily towards yourself. So this is why you would need to do that. So because you had all these people who signed up for this new king,